Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Disco Elysium. In the last episode, what did we do in the last episode? Was it the last episode, I think, where we discovered that the corpse... Yeah, I think it was the last episode. The corpse wasn't actually... Well, while it was hung, the hanging wasn't the cause of his death. Rather, we found a bullet which had been shot through his mouth into his skull. Probably done because he was wearing, I suppose, a helmet at the time. And so, I guess, well, there wasn't an exit wound either. Right? We would have seen that. So whoever put that in him was really good at doing what he did. Just enough that it would almost be undetectable as well. And then we decided to talk to several people around here. We met Sealing, and he has ratted out, possibly, the leader of who is doing drug-related activities here in Martinez. So we're going to talk to her and see if we can stop her from doing this as a favor to Wild Pines, possibly. Right, in other news, we're working on derealization, which we feel like we have to somehow complete this, so why not? We'll go ahead and do what we're being asked to do. And this is weird, I don't have any skill points saved up at the moment, but here's our current stats. I'm thinking what's going to happen here is that I'm going to put the next point into maybe authority, I'm thinking. Authority or maybe endurance. And then wind water, you'll be deciding the next point after that. Now, the girl that we want to talk to is over here. I think, anyway. If she really did do it. Oh, right, we have the statue to examine as well, still. So there's this girl. She's the only one who we haven't talked to yet. Oh, I guess we'll be okay. The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there's a warm smile on her face. Inland Empire. It's the warmth of a winter's night fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your... Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to ask some questions. No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her. Grandma? Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is gray like lead. Half-light. No. This one is a monster. In disguise. Snap your fingers in front of her face.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Snap your fingers twice.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician recalling a subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality. Me? I'm the law around here.
Then I don't suppose you could tell me where we are, Lowman. Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in the traffic jam. In the 50s.
She adds with contempt. When else would you be then?
Back in Methke, during the time of the revolution, the sidewalks and coffees are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boydero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro.
So, Mesk is pronounced I did not quite catch how she pronounced this word. I guess I'll still call it Mesk.
Until you come along, that is.
The look she gives you is accusatory. So I take it you were in Mesk when you were young?
Someone was.
She nods as though her meaning were perfectly clear. Who's Gabriel Buenguerro?
Yes, it's Gabriel Buenguerro.
She shows you a photograph in the lavish amber frame. Take a look. A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you. his head crowned with a wide-brimmed hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw is the most perfect chiseled thing you've ever seen. Suggestion. This man's got a hold over her. Even 50 years later, you can feel it.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of the cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
She leans up back, savoring the world she's conjured up. Right. I have some other questions for you. Police questions.
Why not, Herife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
She settles back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, mountains of memorabilia, photos, and knickknacks line the dashboard. Inland Empire. There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging. Somehow. Can you show me the soles of your boots? Now, what do you want with an old woman's boot, Zerfe? It's for important... please, help me out here. It's important. Please. She raises her boot slowly with contempt. I think you should let me get back to Gabriel Brugerlio. You know Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't say please. She's wearing sturdy worker's boots made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather. Now the other one, please. Just before Gabriel, it was coronation of Francongelo. Now there was a real man. There is no aberration in the pattern that you can see. She puts her foot down. Visual calculus. Moreover, the boots were size 37. Tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this. She's not the odd soul. These are not the boots that made the prince. He takes a quick note. I could have told you that from just looking at them. Her size is 37. The feet of a little girl, she smiles. They fit well on the pedals. What are you hauling? Diamonds. Diamonds? Really? Of course not, she says, grinning. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was? Okay, but what are you really hauling? She shrugs. Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine. So you don't know what you're hauling in your own lorry. I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. She smiles a careless smile. Besides, I don't drive the lolly for cargo, if you know what I mean. Electrochemistry. She says that as if something necrotic is the real reason. What if the cargo is contraband? Then it's contraband, lawman. What? You want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermengilio. Encyclopedia. Bad Hand Hermengilio's bad hand strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just like really strangling people. You seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs. What do I need drugs for, lawman? What I see, what I feel. The great adversary, no drugs can compare. That's not really what I was getting at. Then what were you getting at? Authority. This line of questioning is going nowhere. Try harder. I wanted to ask... Wait. No, that's not it. What is it you're hauling, exactly? Your meh, lawman? What of it? Okay, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs to Terminal B? Her shoulder bones crack as she shrugs. Maybe? Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. You said earlier you don't know what cargo you're hauling. Could it be drugs? Just this month I made half a dozen trips from Samarizia to Grad on the U-41A. What do you think they take from Samarizia to Grad, lawman? Drugs? No, lawman, diamonds, she grins. Damn this. Make her answer. I didn't ask you about diamonds, did I? I don't care about that. Diamonds are good for you, lawmen. You should try them sometime. Make yourself pretty, like Eva de Shoras. If you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs around here? Easy. It's a skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. She squints across the square. Also, he's the only one I can see from here. Visual calculus. That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others. I'm gonna punch the old lady? Yeah, I am. Are you making fun of me right now? No, Sam wouldn't do that. Would he do that? Inland Empire told me this is a monster in disguise, and I believe Inland Empire is telling me the truth. I think she actually is smuggling drugs. Are you making fun of me right now? You better start complying. I would never make fun of a real lawman, Zephyr. Ma'am, you are not responsible for what the client puts in your lorry, as long as the seals are not opened. We officers know that. He gives you a stern look. Inspector Corpse, lay off of her. No. No, and screw you, Kim. Okay, if you're not involved with the drug trafficking, then why are you still waiting here? Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music or the seagulls, look at all the colors and the features of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains. Kim Kitsuragi, I think we're done here, no? He closes his notebook to stress it. Alright. Are you the lady driver? Did you just call me a lady, Zephyr? She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it. I was told of a woman driver. You're the only woman here. I'm not that either, Zephyr. Her smile dissipates. I've gone too far from it all to remember what it was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul. So you're not the driver everyone's terrified of. I'm only terrifying to small children, and to those who used to know me. Why are you scary to people who used to know you? Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was. You said long haul. That's the big ones, the tracks. There's no women and men there. It's all just... She hums along as if to a track on repeat. In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay. Shivers. You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman. Conceptualization. In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals. Then who is the female driver I was told of? How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with other camionneurs, sniffing around when I have my movies to go to? That's all I needed to know. Thanks. Oh, Sim. The woman stares at you, her mind elsewhere now, on other matters. Volition. Something in her is pulling towards some unknown rest state. She twitches, like a sleep kick. I don't understand what you mean, Volition. Though I get the feeling this says that she's doing drugs of some sort. Thank you for now. Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Misk. Her voice trails off. Well, we'll go question the other gentleman, then. I can believe that he's behind the drugs. Unions are a scam. I need money. Wonder how much longer this is going to be going on before the situation just becomes untenable.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Good talking, you gotta run. Wait, what? I thought for sure that was the quest. Is that not the quest? Find out who's the lady driver and where's her lorry. The poet. I thought it was that guy. The skinny man? Isn't that what she said? I thought that's what she said. Hold on. Okay, now I'm not sure. It's not this guy. Oh, maybe she means... Oh, okay, hold on. Maybe she doesn't mean him? I thought when I heard poet... Oh, no, she means this guy again. Back to the guy with the tattoos is who she means. I think. Sorry, you don't get much thinner than the guy up on the balcony. Ooh, that was a misclick. Alright, well, now we have +1 more morale. I have to know, Tim, don't just push it over there because you want to walk in that direction.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
I heard that one of the drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know this lady driver? He shifts around, suddenly uncomfortable, then looks away. I don't want to talk about that. Why? Do you know something? What is it? Man, I was hoping it wasn't going to be her. He bites his lip. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. Let's think here. He doesn't know for sure that it wasn't her. So I don't know if number one, is going to be truthful. And he doesn't say he didn't say that he knows that she did it. He says that he was hoping it isn't going to be her. He doesn't know who's trafficking drugs. Who is this person? What's her name? Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret, from me too. Now I see why. What does she look like? A youngish woman, gruff, but in a cool way. What color hair? Blue and violet, dyed. He answers reluctantly. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went. Then she may have dyed it again. Good call, Logic. She might not look like that at the moment either. Who is she to you? A friend? An acquaintance? I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to run out to the law, okay? When did she leave? Damn, I don't want to... He looks you straight in the eye. Please, just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much. If she's bringing drugs through and people and children and others are dying because of it, no, she is that bad. We can't just let it go. It's a part of a police investigation. That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. He shakes his head. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience. It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only. I don't believe you. You said she's troubled. How? She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over and you're looking for a way out. She shared this with you? Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me to. That she's had a violent life, but I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her. Did this violent life include drug trafficking? Well, it looks like it did now, but we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind. When she left, did she leave her lorry behind? Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out. Empathy. Push Tommy, and it will break his heart, and his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Physical instrument. Now is not a time to be focusing on feelings. You need that info, son. Put yourself in my shoes. I need this for another investigation too. It's important. I can't blow it. You're not gonna put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? 'Cause she's on the edge, man. Pain threshold. I wouldn't be so sure, Tommy. An empire. Imagine it. An explosion of stars. Goodbye world of men, money, and machines. Sorry, Tommy. I don't care for friends. She's a suspect, and I need you to tell me where she is, or I can't finish the investigation. I thought you were a different kind of cop. Something breaks in him and he stares into your eyes. Volition, remember, you're doing it for a bigger investigation. This is important. Relax. Ask, where is the lady driver? Here. He takes a keyring from his pocket, then looks at it before giving it to you in silence. He then gives them to you. Her lorry is still here, down past the statue of Philip. He waves towards a monument. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know. When did she leave? Last Friday. He blinks, his eyes half empty now. I'm not sorry I had to do this. Or rather, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I am sorry. Sam wouldn't be. We're trying to get to the bottom of this investigation. I don't need... do I want to push even more? He's not going to know. And he's not going to tell us. I'm pretty sure he's not going to tell us. And we don't need to know, do we? Maybe we don't. And if we find her lorry, we might have enough information to track... The police might have enough information to track down who she is and where she went. Let's go, Kim. He turns to the man before you leave. Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it was hard, but you did the right thing. You don't really think so. I really do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in the RCM. Take care, sir. Thank you, Volition. We did the right thing. If she is, all we need to know if she's trafficking. We have good reason to suspect that she is. And if she is, then we can get that information. Then, there's her lorry. Then all we have to do is check if she's innocent. If she isn't drug trafficking, then there's nothing we have to worry about, or nothing he has to worry about. This green fallen AZ Contemporaries is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. This is the one our man pointed to. Lieutenant peeks inside. Try to peek in the window. The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and two steering levers. Of a seat. I wonder if that's type of seat. Try the handle. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. Unlock the door with the key Tommy gave you. You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound, then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just Open it. God, it's so loud. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabinet inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. Sight, perception. Oh wow, good thing we put 4 points in perception. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be. Pull out the pull-out toolbox. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty except for a folded newspaper. Oh? What is this? It's an issue of, I can't pronounce that, from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. Pick up the note. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. Pain threshold. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache. The lieutenant leans over your shoulder to examine the note. The Ulan frequency system. I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but his thoughts trail off. Push in the pull-out toolbox. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Posters, a radio, dust on the windows. Rest? Examine the radio. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver. Kim leans closer to the radio and hums. Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. Why would anyone need so many radio stations? For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. He flicks a switch on the radio. This is all shortwave. UW and UKV. Looks like we're dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite the range, too, I guess, for delivering the drugs. Is there anything we can do with the radio? It doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key. What else is here? Let's peel the cover off the passenger seat. Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen. Bon prize, the lieutenant commends you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into some neat squares. Fold open the topmost map. This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to the Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting into the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all. Shivers. There. Hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield. Where does the road lead? To Coron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris on La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttled to their fates below the road. Open the second map. The municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath the sub-district called the POX, Old Military Hospital, right adjacent to the 41st Precinct. Inland Empire. No storm will ever drown Revachol, the great solution to the riddle of history. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own. What is that sound? The rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels lit by gaslights. Look at the third map. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen. where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. Logic. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract. The smugglers have infiltrated the motor track, so it would seem. Lieutenant examines the maps with a furrowed brow. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them. Who do you think is behind this? It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. He's bad news. Kim removes his glasses and polishes them with a handkerchief. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved. Volition. Lieutenant Kisaragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that usually accompany it. Half-Light. Especially bad news for cops who may have something in their past they don't even know is there. Where does the contraband end up? Hard to say. The distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the... I can't pronounce that. Behind it. I can't pronounce that. That sounds vaguely familiar. I can't pronounce that. Is a Revacholian crime syndicate. Besmerte? A Besmerte is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indio tribes. But really, they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol. With cool names, he adds with contempt, like La Puta Madre and Ahura Mazda. It's a dark parody. Return a stack of papers under the seat. Lieutenant nods. Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick these up later. The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle worn from years of use. Check the pedals. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like a few tools lying around here. A hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Logic. Sandpaper adds extra grip. Looks like the driver has glued a piece of sandpaper to the throttle to offer some extra grip. Sandpaper, Lieutenant repeats. A novel technique. The sandpaper will also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot sole. Yes, he likes where this is going. Inspect the corpse. Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself. One of the footprints at the crime scene had an aberration. One smole was smoother than the other. Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. Lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lenses. Wow! Oh my god, that's terrible. While maybe true, they are always up to something. I wouldn't link it to drug trade, for crying out loud. First the drug smuggling, and now this. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Now that we know for certain who's the missing 8th person at the lynching, do you think that Hardy and his boys could be also involved in the drug operation? Not necessarily. The lady driver could have kept the drug secret. Drug? Well, hold on. So let's think. The Union's being funded by something, right? I think the Hardy boys are kind of... I don't know. I think she probably kept it a secret. Not necessarily. The lady driver could have kept the drug trade a secret. We don't know for sure. You're right. But we should still go and see what Titus has to say on the matter. He writes something down in his little notebook. Are we finished with the lorry? Movie stars are still smiling from the walls. Let's admire the posters while we're here. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films, from the 20s, the teens, and even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an, I can't pronounce that, Ejinue, attached right above the back seat. Perception, smell. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of ambret wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. Study the centerfold. The actress is draped in a sheathed dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. Electrochemistry. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put a finger on whom exactly. What's that smell? Perception. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. Probably granite number 5. Enough of the posters. Close the door. Great. I think we got everything. A word detective. He steps away from the lorry before we return to Joyce.
All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Seems like something police would do. What do you think of all this, Kim? Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. Logic. This means it's well-funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it. I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. Half-Light. Listening in on your calls. Between you and your station. A worrying prospect. Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for. He spit the corpse. The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite a find. So it turns out this is connected to the Union. Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically, but don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition. Will the RCM open an investigation into this? We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we're done for the day, I'll call my station and suggest our necrotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later, when we're done here. We do not want to get caught in that. He stops to think. What are you thinking? The fact that one hasn't started already gives me a pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is involved. And I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. Corruption? He nods. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. What about the movie posters? How do they factor into all this? As elegant as they are, I don't think they're relevant to the drug trade. Electrochemistry. Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role. I don't even know what the... Oh, cinephile. Maybe the trader is some sort of cinephile. Yes, well... He doesn't say more. Unimportant. Okay, debrief over? Debrief over. He nods. After you. Before I forget, we're gonna stop by the Frit and turn in some of that, the tar we have. Holy crap, we got a lot done today! Like, this in-game day. This has been really successful. I have no idea how we're gonna get more money. We have enough to pay for tonight, but that's gonna be it. Oh, the time machine is over here, Tim. $1.10. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. That's what chemistry's going to tell us. We should buy more alcohol. We're not going to do that. Oh, 1 second. We have anything new to talk to her about?
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
We can ask her for a reality lowdown. Hey, can you tell me anything about this reality we're in? Reality? You mean... what reality? Economic reality or conceptualization? She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question? Yeah, tell me about the economic reality. I don't really know anything. I mean, I'm 15. Oh, she's 15? 15 isn't... no. What about the physical reality then? I don't know. What about it? What time is it? I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall. Perception. Sight. The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work. Where are we? We're in Frit? No, I mean, where are we? On a larger scale. As mankind, or as a nation, or... conceptualization. What will her essay prompt be? Oh, what will her essay prompt be? As a nation. We're in a... She rubs her face, thinking. We're in a transition! You know, transitioning from, monarchy to democracy. All that stuff. She nods and folds her magazine back. I won't bother you with this nonsense anymore. Cool. She seems happy to return to her reading. Okay. Do I have time to report back to Joyce? Feels like I'm playing for like 45 minutes or so. We'll report back to Joyce with this. We still have so much to do. Thankfully, we have a massive quest log to keep us on track. That's also quick save, so I don't have to turn back into Tar. So, while I'm playing this like a roguelike, everyone, you should know that the game has crashed on me twice so far. And by crashed, I mean locked up, prohibiting me from doing anything interacting with it. We also had that trouble with the money earlier. And I think I own this game on Steam, and there's been no patches for it yet. It's been a month at least. It's a shame, too, because while I like the story, I really don't like the glitches in the game. Especially don't like having to redo work. Alright, Joyce, we are back.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I spoke with the lorrymen at the roundabout. Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? We have discovered enough to conclude. For now. Yes, and? Will you start an official investigation? Authority. Lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. The decision should be yours. No, I'll let the lieutenant handle it, Authority. If there's an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand. Of course, detectives, she says, her tone more cautious suddenly. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Half-Light. The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries. I've already heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike, but I need your testimony. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. A momentary lapse of faith. They were dispatched after I had relayed the union's initial offer. Every worker, a member of the board, she nods. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Do you need a security detail? Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering. Who are they exactly? Krenel, an Originès military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment. So what happened? The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his name, sexually assaulted a local woman, while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rangs, and lynched. Last Sunday night. What then? Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss the matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Krenel contractors carry out their orders. For now. For now? It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow. What is the nature of this so-called investigation? Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. Half-Light, it'll be all of them. The decision is already made. Whoa, how has she made a mess? She hasn't made a mess. Not at all. It is not Disco. I think one of these two. But we're not, even though the game's called Disco Elysium, I'm not playing that type of character who's a high psychic character. Although we certainly seem to be relying on Inland Empire and Shivers a lot. Boy, oh boy. Is that not good? It's not good, no. A wave crashes against the side of her boat. My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, she grabs a hold of the mainsail. If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This, in turn, will force the Union to respond. Authority, they would have to project strength and power. The Dibaderas have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1. Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? She leans back. It's not pretty. Oh, it's not. Wow. So like a small deviation. I'm aware that in Japan there are these hornets, and they can slaughter an entire hive of bees. But the bees will surround the hornet, and then they beat their wings, they increase the heat of their bodies, and while several of them will die, forming this pulsating ball of heat around the hornet, they will kill it. Over here in America, however, some of our bees were imported over there to Japan, and our bees have no idea what to do against these wasps or hornets. They can't sting them, biting does nothing, and like, I think like even 1 or 2 of these hornets can kill an entire hive of bees. These men work in tandem, using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most union workers don't have guns at all. She is silent for a moment, then concludes, as I said, a bloodbath. We have no idea who did it yet. I would have to send Kim with the body tonight. Now, actually. To go and bring that body back. But we might get information about who murdered him from the guy on the balcony. I'd like to talk to that guy first. We could do it without Kim. But I would like Kim there tonight. And tomorrow morning we'll send Kim off. I'm sorry. How does that help in these situations? I'm trying to think of... I'm trying to think of time and how we don't have much of it. Because our hero here, Henry Dubois, or in my case, Sam Burke, spent 5 days or 3 days doing nothing. Because of his own problems. Sounds like he and his wife broke up. He broke down because of it. And decided that nothing else mattered. Maybe his old life, the work he was doing for the RCM, took him away from his wife, or was some sort of conflict or argument. Other people's lives are at stake here, unfortunately, as well. God, what a situation we find ourselves in. I think the confrontation is inevitable. It doesn't have to be like this. She looks at you, eyes dampened from the wind. Nameless, badgeless officer of the Citizens Militia. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court, a good one, and I may be able to defuse the situation. How much time do we have? Until the execution starts? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying members of the lynch mob and their impatience. They don't report their progress to you. Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay. It's a matter of days, not weeks. Where are the remaining 2 mercs now? They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. She puts her foot on the guard wire for balance. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol Citizens Militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. Authority. Am I saying that word correct? I'm not. Vigilantes? You're a professional officer, and of the only legitimate authority in Revachol. The RCM gets its authority from the Coalition. Where does theirs come from? Somehow I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. We still need to know where they are. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved. I wouldn't mind knowing where they are. I don't have to go to them. See, the funny thing about this game is that you don't always want to... You see a high success, and you might not want to pass it. You might not want to take it. I think I believe her. Okay, we'll stay clear for the moment. That's wise, she nods. Our goal is to avert catastrophe. Besides, you're lucky to encounter them sooner or later. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him? If you mean, did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him. His name was... Lile. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Nom de guerre. De guerre? Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. Tell me about the others first. One is a man. Corti, they call him. A nickname as well. The other, a woman. Felice de Paul. Corti is the gunner, I believe. De Paul is a radio operator. Lieutenant cuts in. What would you say was his eye color, the deceased? She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head. I can't remember. There's a pang of regret to her voice. Logic. Lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed. That's alright, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age? He was 40, or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw, made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions. Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, he says to you, then turns back to Joyce. What else? Nationality? Accent? He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair. A mixed accent. Origines? Or Messinian, maybe? His injury gave him an accent all of his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury, she nods. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. You said the deceased assaulted a woman. Or he didn't. She tilts her head. This information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. What did these teenagers by the canal say? That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez. This does not come as news to... This does not come as news to, but still, he exchanges a glance with you. To your knowledge, where did this assault took place, if you know? Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. And who was this woman? That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor, about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. What can you tell me about Krenel? Not much. Their public resume is relatively good. As far as the private military contractors go, I believe they were once called Downwell? They boast a long list of clients. St. Baptiste, Welshman Loretz, Endracht. A warning sign, however, the operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries, guarding facilities, escort missions, and such. Meaning they're used to operating in war zones. Yes, all the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Uset, the Semines Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Okay, anything else you got on them? Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources, she thinks. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I could. It may take some time, though, she thinks. Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am? In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I would be dealing with a group like Krenel. Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's on us. What was that about a bloodbath? Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all Revachol West. Since you're sharing them, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario. Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. That's enough for now. I'm sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there's anything else I can help you with, please ask. There is, actually. Now can you tell me about these tattoos? Of course. Excuse my hesitation before. She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hand. For half a minute, in silence. It is taken with a trigat not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs. Stay quiet and observe her expression. Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface. What do you think? Sounds like she's educated. Maybe she recognizes what pattern the stars are for. Sorry. She breaks her concentration. I was trying to see if I could read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. She points to one on the photo paper. I can't. But that's how you read the story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location of the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Like stars in the sky. Close, she nods. Port cities. This is an Orgenes map of the waterways. A sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the DeLorean century over 300 years ago. The sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. Who could tell us more? His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Logic, you wouldn't even know where to start. What travels did the dead man make? Quite a few. Verdfort, the Orgenes capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. She points to it on the photo. He started somewhere near there, I think. What next? Then he made his way to the Petrograd, through what I think must be Stadscanal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Insulandic Ocean, first to the Seminoles Islands, then this. She points to his heart. What is that? Revachol, she says. Those are the two constants. Verdefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of the maps right after the discovery of the Insuland, at the dawn of the intersolary age. Conceptualization. The old world passing by, and the new world already here. You said you can't read it. I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographical fragments, but not their meaning. What is the use of this map? The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Inland Empire. Where is he now? Are we... Oh, are we religious or not? I've spoken to him. For now, the soul is fastened inside his corpse. She remains unfazed. That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse. That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help. She hands you back the photo. Is there anything else I can help you with? Thank you. That's all for now. Indirect modes of taxation. Turns out those financial oversight committee gangsters stuffed millions of hard-earned dividends away in the last place anyone thought to look. The hearts and minds of everyday Revacholians. You need to spread that deregulation gospel to the people. Tell them about that foreign fare tax. Preach that 98% gross burden. Preach it, preacher man. Set the brothers free. Taxes are racist. Ultra-liberal dialogue options give you +1 real. Hey! And I have learned that ultra-liberal means libertarian. At least I think that's what it means for us here in America. -1 empathy. Looks like he's a hustler or something. Alright, so we've suffered -1 empathy permanently. I think I will counter that. Because Windwater, you had me put a point in empathy, I feel like we should keep it. So we will level it up again. As much as I really want endurance instead, we'll go ahead and make sure that your point wasn't countered by my decision to take that thought. And Windwater, you'll have to let me know what the next point will go in. After that, I'm probably going to put a point in endurance next. In any case, at the moment we're done, so I'm going to thank you all for watching. And I guess we should summarize. So we found out that who was behind the drug trade. Oh, I'm sorry. We know that we have linked the person behind the drug trade to the 8th Hardy Boy, who we don't know, but we know it's a girl. We know that we have probably angered the one gentleman, the one lorry member who gave us the key to access her cabin. We discovered that there's a group of 2 mercs. There's 2 mercs left of the 3 that were hired to come here. And that, well, they're going to begin killing every member of the Hardy Boys. Probably once they figure out who did it. We know it was the Hardy Boys because we were told that in town. I have a feeling that because it was said aloud, news is going to get to them. And I have a hunch we've got like 1 or 2 days left until it goes down. We better find someone to pin the actual murder on and do it quickly. We'll see if we can get lucky enough to do that. It's only 3:58, so we have some time left. I'll figure out we'll look at our quest and see what we're doing in the next episode. In the meantime, I'm gonna stop here. I'll thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.